fighting partner. Don't take the law into your own hands. Remember, if you see a crime, report it. This is a message from your own self, old man Sam Cyan.
Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper, Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, let's stopping crime for all of us. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper, Liberia. From the center to interior, Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, let's stopping crimes for all of us.
Okay, Crime Stoppers Liberia, probably associated with the Freedom Money Ras right here. So yes, we can confirm that at least we are on the internet now. Let's give out money to our followers. They will come and do the mega draw. Let's give this. Let's give out money to this. Let's give out money to this, to this, to this. Let's go in here. So star 799, star 799, hash. Okay, reply with number 7. Okay. Let's give out money right here to this, so this person, to this person. Good. Too many things. We got to discuss the real political. So maybe the system. Morning.
Yeah, man.
This is Higa Gonda, and I'm calling you here from Freedom FM.
Yeah.
So you've been playing the cash giveaway, right?
Yeah.
Have you won before?
No.
Okay, so check up on your phone. You receive $1,000 as part of our frequent players, and you can also play this morning. We're giving out 25,000 this morning.
Yeah. Cool.
The code is star 799 hash, and then you okay. The options will appear. Then you reply with number 7 for Freedom FM. So if you want to win 25,000, that's the code for the 25,000. Star 799 hash. You reply with number 7. All right. Okay, let's talk to this person. Let's talk to this the person. Star 799 hash. Okay, reply with number 7 for Freedom FM. We back on the internet. Good morning.
Hi, morning.
Morning, man. This is Higa. I'm calling you from Freedom FM. You getting me?
Yeah.
You've been playing the cash giveaway, right?
Yeah.
So check up on your phone. You receive $1,000, and I'm also on the radio this morning giving out 25,000. So you want to play, you can play, and then you could be a part of those walking away with 25,000. Okay, let's talk to another person. We want to do the 25,000 draw now, so we're still waiting for just 2 more persons to play. Then we do the 25,000 draw right here. If I can play, I will not, because the threshold have to be met. Then that's when I can be able to do what I'm able to do here. Let's talk to this person. Then maybe.
That the number you're trying to reach is currently switched off.
Okay, all right, this one is off. So yes, let's see the system. We're good. Then we can check up to see whether if the 2 have played. Then we do a draw right here. Right here. So star 799 hash. Reply with number 7 for Freedom FM. Then yes, good. You stand a chance to receive 25,000. Right here. So too many things happened over the weekend. Too many things. Did I say over the weekend? Too many things happened during the course of the week. Yeah, during the course of the week, and the latest amongst them is the president of the Republic of Liberia on yesterday, on late last evening, addressed the nation. And what he said, well, let me get this so you listen to it. For those of you who have not listened to what the president said, Ababe, that Ababe is interesting. Let's see that we can. What's going on? Okay, just give me a few seconds. Few seconds. Let me get this.
It's about music. There are crimes in many places. In every community, you can see. So if you see crime, you report it. Don't take law in your hands for the right authority. Really can't take your law in. Crime stopper here for us, bringing safety to your door. Now you rich or you poor. If you see you must talk it. I mean you cheche. You wait for your safety. If you see don't keep it. You must call to report it.
Okay, so let listen to the president right here. Let's listen to the president right here. It's interesting. Let's listen to our president right here.
Fellow Liberians, yesterday, April 23, 2025, the Supreme Court of Liberia, our nation's highest arbiter of justice, delivered its ruling on the bail of information relating to the ongoing impasse in the House of Representatives. As President of this Republic, I acknowledge the ruling of the Supreme Court. However, let us all note that the House of Representatives have been unresolved. Accordingly, my government has already initiated broad consultations with the relevant national stakeholders to determine the most appropriate and constitutionally sound path forward. We have actively involved our traditional and other national leaders in addressing the matter. In doing so, we remain fully committed to preserving the sanctity of our democracy, the principle of three separate or coordinate branches of government. Fellow Liberians, our Constitution and the Supreme Court have defined what constitutes a quorum for the conduct of business in the legislature. We intend to vigorously uphold this vital principle of our constitutional democracy. We will continue to work with a quorum that would ensure the full functioning of our government. Over the past months, we have watched with growing concern as the division in the House of Representatives remains unresolved, undermining public confidence in our most vital democratic institutions. Tragically, we have also witnessed the torching of the Capitol building, a national symbol of democracy, by arsonists intent on sowing chaos and discord. Today, we received a report of acts of vandalism intended to desecrate the dignity of our public institutions and buildings. The police are investigating. Let me be clear, under our leadership, the government of Liberia will not be held hostage by narrow interests or acts of lawlessness. The work of governance will continue and nothing will distract us from our duty to serve the Liberian people. We are a country governed by laws, not by mobs or self-serving ambition. Those who undermine peace, violate the law, or seek to disrupt national harmony will face the full force of the law and justice. To all Liberians, I urge you to go about your daily business, your lives peacefully and confidently. Your government remains functional and steadfast in its responsibility to deliver services, maintain order, and uphold the values of democracy and good governance. I call on every elected leader to remember their oath, not to themselves, but to the Liberian nation, state, and people. I call on every citizen to rise above division and demonstrate the enduring values of patriotism, unity, and national purpose. As we seek political solutions to the impasse, let us do so with calm heads and committed hearts, ever mindful that Liberia is bigger than any one of us, any one person, party, or position. We will protect our democracy. We will preserve our peace, and together we will move Liberia forward. May God bless us all, and may God bless the Republic of Liberia.
Okay, all right. So you listen to the President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency President Joseph Newman Boakai, and it's interesting. At least you listen clearly. For some of you who did not have the opportunity last night to listen to what the president said. That is the address that the president gave us last night. I think it was around 9 o'clock to 10 o'clock, around there. Yes, around 9. You know, our country is bleeding. Our country is bleeding due to the fact that the laws of our country is being disrespected, and people who are supposed to be protecting those laws are the ones disrespecting them. When the common man is accused, when he's arrested, he spend his time behind bar. He spent his time behind bar while the state is looking for evidence to prosecute that common man. When the laws are working against the interests of the common people, the ones we consider as masses, move in a swift and urgent form and manner to protect the rules of the rule of law in our country. But secondly, when the laws affect the people who should be living by example, then hey, it is not a law. It is a public or personal opinion. I listened to the president last evening. Just supported what have been said by several of his government officials. The likes of Mo Ali, the likes of Women P, the likes of that other empty head human being to LBS, they call Eugene, and several of them. What we are all forgetting to know at this point in time, at this time of our country's existence, is that we are setting a precedent. Whenever you do something, you are setting a precedent. So even when the court decide to rule, sometimes they will go back ruling. Whenever you do something, whether good or bad, you are putting the state or that institution in the position to reference your your organization, or let's say reference your action tomorrow. Now, in the case of what is happening at the House of Representatives, there have consistently been they have removed 2 speakers from over there, the likes of Snow and Ellis Tyler. Now, all of the proceedings that led to the removal of those speakers were in the rightful proceedings. These people were pressured to resign because 40, 43, 44, 40, whatever member, except 49 of members of their colleague decided that, hey, we get interested in the man for personal reason or for whatever reason, we can work with this man. Let's ensure that we get him out. That is the basic upon which people have been removed as speakers. So there have been no other Liberian who have said in the past, I am going to challenge this process to ensure that the court can tell us and have a better interpretation of what this portion of our constitution says, 33, 49, 38, or whatever. So there have been no other Liberian that have said, I will challenge this process to ensure that the court, these constitutions, this provision in the constitution are saying. Except when we came now to have Kofa, who himself is a landed lawyer. He said, hey, we must put in place check. People live according to the laws of our country. So what the law says about removing a person when the person serves as speaker. There are provisions laid down in the Constitution, various provisions in the Constitution. You want to elect a speaker, use this provision, use this step. You want to remove that speaker, use this provision, use this step provided by, let's say, supported by the Constitution. It is sick because the Boakai administration is a part, or as part of their arrest agenda, quote unquote, their arrest agenda. One of the key things that the government continuously spoke about in their during their days but then in opposition, when they were in opposition, one of the things they continuously spoke about was the issue of the rule of law. And that's why they thought to include it as part of their agenda for our country. The rule of law. No country can develop and be secure in the absence of the rule of law. Now, I will challenge this process. You challenge the process, went to court. The court ruled and said, you all made mistakes. Granted. These mistakes that you made, the court is not clear with the responsibility. The court does not have the power to subject you to run a decision or make a decision. But the laws of our country says, if you want to remove this person, this is what you should follow. Since indeed you did not follow this, and you since indeed you cannot meet this provision of the Constitution, the both parties can go back and have a dialogue. The both parties can go back and settle their issues. And that's how we came to the point where people said the court ruling was ambiguous. The court ruling did not give a clear direction of what it was. So everybody was acting in their own reign and power. So somebody, I think they say the court ruled in my favor, they jubilating. Somebody took from the other. So as a way of respecting the laws of our country and showing that we protect the peace and stability of our country, somebody says, I'm going back to the court to allow the court to. What it meant when it said this. When George Bassey spoke outside of the court at a gathering, people from the regime and some of those lawmakers who are pushing or who are the masterminder of this disrespect to the rule of law, they sat and insulted the justice, the social justice, because His explanation of what they said, y'all go back and settle this. His explanation did not meet their taste. So because of that, they said, hey, maybe the only thing we can come up to is to cause the man. Let's cause him. So people start calling the man, telling the man, oh, the man, when justice go, somebody go sit down somewhere and drink and get liquor talk, insulting a statesman. These are people that when you tell Bwaka say he's sleepy, he's sick, then they get issue with you, but they can look at people and tell somebody say the liquor talk, that jungle talk. When you tell Bwaka say he's sick, even though that the reality that Bwaka is sick, then they get issue with you, then they say you cause him. So somebody said, what the court have said, we both cannot continue to celebrate. We cannot continue to claim legitimacy. Let's go back to the court so the court can better explain. And when the court say, hey, you out of this, I move. We've said this consistently. We've explained this elementary thing consistently. A bit of information was filed by the legal team representing the minority bloc. And they went to court. And the court, amongst key things, few among key, several things said by the court, where that one, let me get this stuff settled. So, few amongst the key things that were said, one, any action by the majority of the speaker is unconstitutional. That is one. Anything that you want to do with a majority, once the speaker, the legitimately elected speaker, isn't there, what you are doing it's not in conformity with the law. So, what order you did with your majority, once the speaker wasn't there, the legitimately elected speaker wasn't there, that was something that was against the Constitution. And two, the deputy speaker or another representative had no authority to preside over the session when the speaker is available. Was the speaker not available and listen to not score empty head using Fagon speaking in the room? When the speaker was in the room, was it the day that the people remove the speaker or the people elected new speaker? So to tell, was that the time that the people removed the speaker or the elected new speaker and start taking decisions when the speaker was in the room? So you are not even following, but people like you, we blame you. But again, and this is where we are. Section of lawmakers have no legal foundation under our law. Chief Justice says that. So, the management is here. Maybe Kind is having Kind who. And then Wendell says, no, I'm going in the newsroom with my own meeting. So you hosting parallel sections. So parallel sections of lawmakers have no legal foundation under the law. Which part of the law that you were acting in when you started hosting parallel section, when the meeting was there and you needed to go there to present your plight so you can be heard, and the speaker recused himself, you take a decision. You did not do so, but instead decided to go in the returner. And any action by the majority with the exclusion of the speaker is unconstitutional. Any action by the majority with the exclusion of the speaker is unconstitutional. That is what the Chief Justice said. That is in their ruling, in their opinion on the Bureau of Information file. And the next thing is, the majority bloc is hereby mandated to obey the court order in the Constitution of Liberia. What's the court order? Go back, settle your thing. Go back, settle this in accordance with the laws of our country. The court further said
The Attorney General's opinion, for which the self-styled majority bloc is acting on, is of no relevance to this Supreme Court. The Chief Justice reading the Supreme Court. What else here that you people did not understand? That the president will address the nation instead of finding a way forward to this, to settle this. The president is creating more chaos in the country than solving problems. Star 799 has reply with 7 for Freedom FM. What other thing in this thing that the court, that the president, the government want to tell us that they are not understanding? Now we want to replay the president's statement. You've listened to all that have been said. What the court said. To address, I want to get this thing out. In telling us he's going to work. So the president acknowledged the court ruling is one. So maybe the management, for whatever reason, and Hagar is suspended. Then I leave from here and go to management and try to talk to management. And maybe I talk to maybe the director general or the deputy director general and say, oh, maybe I'm sorry for what happened. It happened this way, it happened that way, all kind of thing. We just say, okay, we hear it. We hear it is to tell you that he have sat and listened to what I have said. He have listened to my appeal. But the acceptance aspect of it is another thing. The acceptance will come in when he says, okay, you can start work tomorrow. Or you can start work now. But if you just tell me, say, okay, I accept it. I accept it. Without telling me go to start work or go home. I accept it. You see what a proof, what it portrays. That is similar thing to the president's statement. I accept, I acknowledge what the court have said. The court, he acknowledged that the court is the final arbiter of justice in our country. The president acknowledged that. But accepting the court's decision. Let's listen to the president. Let's listen to him. Star 799 hash. You can reply with number 7. A chance to receive 25,000. Let's listen to the president right here.
And so, folks, welcome.
So it's just 5 meetings less, 5 meetings or less than that. So that's it.
You go first. President Joseph Mbaka to address the nation very, very shortly.
April 23, 2025, the Supreme Court of Liberia, our nation's highest arbiter of justice, delivered its ruling on the Bill of Information relating to the ongoing impasse in the House of Representatives. As President of this Republic, I acknowledge the ruling of the Supreme Court. However,
so as President of the Republic, I acknowledge the ruling of the Supreme Court. But however, let's listen to the president.
We must all note that the House of Representatives problem remains unresolved. Accordingly, my government has already initiated broad consultations with the relevant national stakeholders.
And this is one thing that the president, I know some of you that can be advising the president and writing speech for him, I know what you can be thinking. This is a belated statement coming from the president.
Something that started October of 2024, and we are here in April of 2025, and the president is telling us he has started or he has engaged with relevant authorities or partners or whatever to ensure that they settle this thing. Where was the president when these guys were when they started all of this entire thing to where we are now? Bulk of those people who are pushing this, who are on this fight, are people from the ruling party. All of the United Party lawmakers are there. This is a support. This is something that is supported by the regime. The president cannot sugarcoat anything and try to scapegoat anything here. This fight, that's something they started. That's something that is being supported by the executive. That's why those renegade lawmakers had to leave and go to the RILJ, being supported by state resources through the government. Money dish out amongst them. Today, he's starting consultation, waiting. Now listen to him.
To determine the most appropriate and sound path forward. We have actively involved our traditional and other national leaders in addressing the matter. In doing so, we remain fully committed to preserving the sanctity of our democracy, the principle of three separate coordinated.
There is no other way around that you can try to preserve the sanctity of our democracy when the disrespect for the rule of law is high. Mr. President, you cannot continue to fool. You don't think you can fool Liberians. You can fool all of us. Are the people who are still expecting tokens and handouts from you. These are people who are still looking for the opportunity to go and loot state resources. So they don't look in your face to see it. They are not even able to call on a radio platform and say, our president said is X, Y, and Z, if not to just praise. So, Mr. President, you can fool these people. You can fool the Unity Party people who are still looking for a job for you, but you can fool like-minded individuals, people who their only interest is the peace and stability of our country, the growth and development of our country. You cannot fool us. So the president is here acknowledging that he acknowledges the separation of power.
The Supreme Court.
The president is here acknowledging the separation of power, but this is the very same president that called these very same lawmakers before the speakership election. He called them, asking them to support his choice of candidate for the speakership election. By that time, they were not three separate but coordinated branches of government. But when it is to call mediation dialogue between them to say, hey, what can we do to resolve this? Then the president acknowledged that it is a three separate and coordinated branch. The President Bwaka is a disgrace. And I don't care how you take it. This old man has become a disgrace to the country, and many of you who even stood in the line under the sun, the rain to vote this man. No leadership. Vigo. The Houston hospital to carry himself to the hospital. This man has done nothing tangible for our country. Everything you see them passing around where they call development agenda that are copy and paste. The World Bank can relate to that. That copy and paste. I listen to him.
The principle of three separate or coordinate branches of government. Our Constitution and the Supreme Court have defined what constitutes a quorum for the conduct of business in the legislature. We intend to vigorously uphold this vital principle of our
listen to this part.
Democracy. We will continue to work with a quorum that will ensure the full functioning of our government.
So you listen from the president. You listen to the deception from the president. The president is. Let's go back to this part.
Find what constitutes the core person. the principle of three separate or coordinate branches of government. Fellow Liberians, our Constitution and the Supreme Court have defined what constitutes a quorum
Okay.
for the conduct of business
Mhm.
in the legislature. We intend to vigorously uphold this vital principle of our Constitution.
So, in a deceptive statement, in a deceptive move, the president is telling us he intends to uphold the Supreme Court's interpretation of what constitutes a quorum. The Supreme Court said that constitutes a quorum. The Supreme Court said having the majority, having the numbers, right? You must have the majority number. You must have the majority number around 38, 37, 38 lawmakers. You must have. And then not just to have it, but you must have a legitimately elected speaker. So this entire thing is just about going back to status quo ante. It's just about going back to status quo. Let's go back to where we made a mistake. Let's go back there and settle it. We can say remove this man, but let's go back to where we started this thing, where we made the earlier mistake. So you can have your numbers, but your numbers must be presided over by our speaker. Let's listen to our president.
The Constitution and the Supreme Court have defined what constitutes a quorum for the conduct of business in the legislature. We intend to vigorously uphold this vital principle of our constitutional democracy. We will continue to work for the quorum of our government.
So, in this case, the president's interest in the laws Supreme Court have said. But the president is telling us he will continue to work with a quorum, even when it is illegal, even when it's illegitimate. He will continue to work with a quorum that will continue to allocate money for him to buy new cars, for him to travel to Ghana, for him to travel to this place for treatment. That the quorum will work with, for his ministers to steal our country money, for people to use money and say they're using $450,000 to renovate buildings. That the quorum the president said he will work with, because that he regime quorum. So that's why they took a puppet and he's purporting to be a speaker. So that the quorum Baka said he will work with. He cared to know what the Supreme Court have said about the quorum. What constitutes a legal and legitimate quorum. He cared to know about that. But he will work with the one that he sees. Is this Papi a unifier? President Bouaka, let me say this to you. The people who are advising you, they are advising you. And they're not helping you. They're helping you to spoil your integrity, other than helping the country. This thing would have come to an end yesterday or last night. If you were to say, we will continue to work with a quorum, the Supreme Court, or as recognized by the Supreme Court. So that statement alone, we will continue to work with a quorum as described or recognized by the court. That statement would have sent a message that both sides need to reconcile. Because the president wants a number, but he wants a number that is governed and supported by the laws of our country. And what is that legal part of it? To have a quorum is one thing, and having a legitimately elected speaker is another thing. People will say, there's a reason we get in numbers. Let's go to the man and talk to him to have him, and maybe he can decide from there. We talk to him, he reason. Kofa is not interested in staying over there as speaker. What Kofa is interested in is in showing that the right thing is done. That's just simple thing. He's not interested in staying as speaker. That's not a father's property. That some of you, the people that Rachel Kuhn taking it to be their parents' property, so they want to inherit it. So he's a Unity Party man. Unity Party get Liberia now, so that my property I will take it. I'm supposed to be here. But Kofa is not interested in that. We will continue to support a quorum. We'll continue to work with a quorum supported by the laws of our country. So, people, y'all go to Kofa and people, you're talking reconcile and finish. But saying you will continue to work with a quorum that will ensure the running of your government, even when it is not legal, Mr. President, you won't tell us it makes sense. Papa, you disappointing people who voted you. The only problem I get with them is because many of them at this point, they don't have the guts to look in your face or to say it on the platform like this. But many of them can call us behind the scene. When we finish from here, they can call us, comment us, and tell us where you are making mistakes. But they can't sit on platform to say it. When we saying it here because we like you, Papa, we're not saying it because we hate you. No. When you go to more recognize and respect the court's ruling, they will like you, they will support your government because you are a respecter to the rule of law. So when we tell you, Mr. President, respect the Supreme Court ruling, we hate you. So compare and contrast now amongst the people who tell you disrespect the Supreme Court ruling and make international partners to get issues with you, and compare them with the people who tell you, Mr. President, respect the Supreme Court ruling so people can like you, international partners can do business with you. It is part of your arrest agenda, respect for the rule of law. Where are we, Mr. President? So your only interest is to have a quorum. The only interest is to have a quorum. You don't care whether the quorum is legitimate, is legal. You don't care. So once you want to have your government functioning, you work with any quorum. You work with that. And what is so disappointing in this is that the president even went further to divide Liberians, divide the lawmakers. Let's listen further to his statement.
For the past months, we have watched the division in the House of Representatives remains unresolved, undermining public confidence in our most vital democratic institutions. Tragically, we have also witnessed the torching of the Capitol building, the national symbol of democracy, by arsonists intent on sowing chaos and discord. Today, we received report of acts of vandalism intended to desecrate the dignity of our public institutions and buildings.
So, Mr. President, when the other police officers who should be law enforcers, when Conway and other people to illegally burst into a certain lawmaker's vehicle, Yeke Koluba, burst into his vehicle, and the lawmaker accused them of stealing things from his vehicle. That one, another act of vandalism, he did not speak about that. It was not the same way people died in Lofa County. They murdered Tama Momo. They murdered him in Foya. He did not speak about that. This is a similar thing you're doing, Mr. President. This is a similar thing you're doing. Momo was murdered in Lofa County. During the campaign, you did not speak because you feel he was a sedition that was murdered. He was fighting for the cause of the CDC to ensure that he have a better Liberia. He was murdered for that. He did not speak to that. So today, when Rachel Kuhn went and other people to burst into Yeke's car, take away things, no, it was not act of vandalism. When on a harder day where everybody home, lawmakers go and order a capital man to come and burst into the speaker's office, but then it was not act of vandalism. When somebody go and check a legitimate speaker picture from on the wall, like act of vandalism, you see how you looking, Papi, and you see how you looking.
The thing.
Go ahead, promise.
We, actually never wanted to even talk on this issue because it's something that We saw all the way from the start. We knew from the onset that there's nothing positive that this government will have given we the Liberian people. Because you you are not having issue with Yeke for bringing down or breaking Richard's picture, right? Okay, so you have issue with him now. But then you never had issue when Richard Kuhn forcefully entered the speaker's office. You never had issue, or you never even came to the public or the nation to talk about the lawlessness that was being carried out by the majority bloc. What a deceptive precedent. Why are you being hypocrite to our democracy? Something you know that you were never going to uphold, something you know you were never going to stand by, but yet and still you said that you are going to agree to the rule of law or support the rule of law. But then when it is time for you to stand by the Supreme Court, when it is time for you to enforce the law, you have come back to us to tell us that this is this, and you are going to work with quorum that has no legal standing. Now we are hearing is kind of alleged that those lawmakers have ran back to RLG.
Yeah, that's what I said hearing from last night.
The country finances are being placed in a bucket for few people to just use it, few people to just ride on it. But this is something that we are not going to sit on. You people can do everything that you want to do, but when it comes to the rule of law, we need to stand by that. Because today or tomorrow, we don't want people saying something like, I think I saw something from Mariah Page, and then Joe Baca said, okay, a person can stab this person, and then the court can come out to say this person didn't die from being stabbed. This person died because of so and so reason, and we need to respect the court's decision. But here is it. The court have come back to us. The court have said that everything that the majority bloc did was illegal and it was not constitutionally done. But then the president, someone who we thought was going to listen to Liberian people cry, instead, he decided to listen to the cries of those who are in his political party. He started to listen to people like Mo Ali. He listened to people like, the whole frustrating part about this thing is that then we will want someone to go to jail for killing after the court have ruled that this person killed. So why should that person go to jail? The president can even work with that person because, they are not forced to make that law be enforced. But yet to say, we Liberians, those of us who understood what was written by the court, those of us who read those paragraphs with key understanding, we know that Richard Kuhn is not the speaker. Okay, Richard Kuhn can be the speaker. Yes. Fonati Kofa can be removed. Yes. But let us do it in the rightful manner. People are saying, why can't Fonati just resign for the sake of peace? Why should it be Fonati? Why should it be the person who's in the right position? Why should he wave away his rights and even forgo the laws of the country for the sake of peace? Why can't the people who are in the wrong forgo
recognized by the court?
Why can't they forgo what they are doing for the sake of peace? Why can't they stand those lawmakers who are breaking all of the laws? I said it on my post. I said, if Richard Kuhn cannot stand with the law, there's no need for him to be a lawmaker, because people who make laws are to abide by those laws.
So it is important, and the government continue to prove what Liberians said. Let's listen to Councillor Bromsky. Let's listen to Councillor Bromsky right here. Councillor Bromsky says something in the past that is coming now to reality. The late Councillor Bromsky. I'm talking about Charles Walker Bromsky.
What troubles me is to hear a sitting vice president, Joseph Boakai, and his men trying to tear our country apart. We are a post-conflict nation.
Mm-hmm.
Our peace is fragile. What we need to do is to reconcile and bring our people together. Not to separate us, not to divide us, not to destroy this country anymore. Joe used to be my friend. He too might have been a friend of Bromsky when I came home. Since he decided to run for the presidency, I don't think Joe and I have agreed on much, but there's one thing I agree with him about. No Congo man should be president of Liberia again. But there's another side of that story, Joe.
Yes, you listen to him. There are too many things. The president, people can normally say what the old man can sit and see.
Yeah.
The young man can even stand or climb in a tree, but will not see what that old man is seeing. This is where we are. Peace be unto his arches. Councillor Charles Walker Bromsky is here telling us. You listen to him. You see where we are? And the president is here today disrespecting the rule of law, trying to take our country back to those dark days. And his ministers are clapping because they have the first-hand opportunity to travel out of this country in a jiffy. And this is where, again, I want to speak to partners of the country, of our government. We sat and listened and saw how the former U.S. ambassador to this country spoke against almost every issue that came up in this country. We sat and listened. We read statements on the U.S. embassy's website. Even though many of the things that they spoke against, or the embassy by then spoke against, were things that came up out of allegations. But today, when there are glaring evidence and proven records that the laws of our country has been disrespected, the U.S. embassy is not interested because they brought this Boakai onto us. Yeah. The council of churches that spoke in every issue before, even when it came to the issue of employment opportunities, the council of churches released a statement. When boyfriend and girlfriend fight and the relationship go to court, the council of churches spoke before and said the court should ensure that they serve. It's serious. All of what happened before, there were people who spoke strongly condemning them because it was Weah who was president back then. It was certain group of people who were in charge of the country back then. So as a way of getting to power today, they fought everything they could do possible. And they are here today. So what are those things? Those things that are happening today
when the court, the Supreme Court of our nation, is being disrespected openly. When the president came, the first thing he pardoned somebody who was prosecuted, or somebody who was found guilty for murder.
Yeah.
And he did not just stop there, but he came back and gave her position in our government. Pay somebody for being a murderer. Boakai did so when he became president. Gloria Musu's caught. The president pardoned her. He gave her work. There are glaring evidence, pieces of evidence. When the president came, he decided to arbitrarily dismiss people from tenure positions in this country. The Supreme Court ruled against that decision. The president suspended those people. They have served suspension for close to or more than a year. The Council of Churches can speak. U.S. Embassy can speak. International partners can speak. Because they brought this curse upon us. When there are glaring evidence, Boakai only takes fire at the Capitol building before investigation. Boakai said that hooligans could, the police supported his statement. Somebody picture taking somebody picture from the wall, the eyes of hooligans. Yeah. That's a clear eye of hooliganism. But when it comes to the part where somebody vehicle was forcefully burst into, dreaded and burst into, no, that's civility. When on a holiday, somebody's office was burst into, that's act of civility. Let's see how terrible our country is becoming. You'll see how terrible this old man. The only thing when we reach this point of our country's existence, the only thing I can tell people is let's maintain the peace of our country. Boakai is not a Liberian. He's proving that. That's what happened when you buy your car and you decide to give your car to somebody who did not spend a dime for that and give it to them to run traffic. When you see people lowering cars on the highway and the low on the car is almost like 10, 15 feet up, and you can't even find a car, that's because many of these people are not the owners of those cars. So they use it anyway, they run anyway, they don't dodge hole, they jump everywhere to spot it because they care, they have money inside it. So that the same thing we hear where you buy a motorbike, you give it to somebody, they'll ride any kind of way, they care. Because they have money inside, when it's spoiled, they'll bring it back to you and tell you, say, oh, boss man, it's spoiled. That the same thing we in here with Boakai. Now, Boakai not Liberian, Boakai is a Sierra Leone. Boakai country is enjoying peace. The president there, Malabio, is trying his best. So, what Liberia peace is under threat. God forbid when something happened today, God forbid. I'm not sure this is speech. So, God forbid when something happened today, Boakai will leave from here and go live Sierra Leone because he's a Sierra Leone. He's recognized Sierra Leone. He will live there. So that's the kind of country we got. That's the kind of country we're building. We gave our country to somebody to what you call it. We bought our car and gave it to somebody. So the person treating our car any kind of way they want to treat it. Because the money not into it. Our country is being treated this way.
So you see, seeing that this particular government don't have any respect to honor the rule of law, it makes a whole lot of thinking comes to us, right? We start to think, what becomes of 2029 when the people of Liberia decides not to continue with this government? Do we think that our votes will be secure? Is it possible that these people will honor our wish that we don't want them to continue ruling us? Then the fear starts to stir in. We are not sure, because we have come to understand that these people have no plans of allowing the rule of law to prevail. These people who came to power with 42 years plus experience, this leader who is not leading this country, but allowing himself to be led by people, Liberia is just going to keep going down, going down, going down, going down, because of one man who has all of the experience with no connection. The same man who could not allow us to stay on top of the game, that the 500 million MCC grants have gone down. We will not even be receiving it anymore. This same man is there telling us that he doesn't care what Supreme Court ruled, but all he knows is that he's going to work with the quorum illegally. Because trust me, if Fonati having to come back to the speakership and starts to question money that was spent, everybody hand will be in it. Everybody hand will be in it. So right now, that's the fear of every one of them. That's the reason they don't want to allow Fonati to come back to the
In fact, the
speakership.
people's salary, the guys who they said is suspended, their salary, we are receiving credible information that they ate the guy's money.
You see,
So because what happened, the Central Bank of Liberia, the Ministry of Finance processed the money to their account, to the bank account of the what you call it, of the issuer's account, right? So the money went to the issuer account, but it is not being accounted for there because the man there they not deal with their B, and that's why it is. But it's terrible for our country. This is where we are. In a Liberia, or the new Liberia here, we are. So let's speak us. Let's see. Let me see. Star 799 hash OK reply with number star 7 reply with number 7, and then you stand a chance to receive instant cash prize here of 25,000. So we still here, not yet completed with the draw. We can do a draw right here because we've not reached a threshold. So let me see. I'm told there's a release from the CDC, the ALP, MOVE, and of course the AMC. I want to see whether this is real. But it says here, April 25, 2025, in a dramatic escalation of Liberia's ongoing political crisis, the Constitution for the Coalition for Democratic Change, or the CDC, in collaboration with the Alternative National Congress, the ANC, All Liberian Party, ALP, and MOVE, has issued an urgent call for a meeting for an emergency political summit to address what they described as President Joseph N. Boakai's troubling defiance of the Supreme Court's ruling. The Supreme Court earlier this week reaffirmed Fonati Kofa as the legitimate Speaker of the House of Representatives, ending months of legislative impasse. However, the opposition bloc claims that President Boakai's administration is actively undermining the ruling, posing a direct threat to the country's constitutional order. In a strongly worded press release issued on Friday, April 25,
The opposition parties invited all political institutions, civil society organizations, youth and students groups, national motorcycle unions, and concerned citizens to attend an emergency meeting scheduled for 2 p.m. at the AMC headquarters on VP Road, Monrovia. We find ourselves at a critical juncture in our nation's democratic journey. The statement reads, that is imperative that we come together. It is imperative that we come together as a united front to uphold the rule of law and ensure the stability of our beloved country. The emergency meeting is aimed at crafting a coordinated national response to what the opposition terms as the Boakai administration's refusal to honor the authority of the judiciary. They emphasize that this is not just a call to action, but a call to national unity, warning that any attempt to undermine the Supreme Court is an affront to democracy itself. The action of any leader should reflect the will of the people and respect the decisions of our judiciary system. The statement continues. We must ensure that our voices are heard, and that our democratic institutions are preserved. The call comes just one day after the CDC Council of Patriots, or the CDC COP, called for the impeachment of President Joseph Boakai, further intensifying the political pressure on the executive mansion. Analyst says today's meeting could mark the beginning of a broader national protest movement against what the opposition calls an emerging dictatorship under the guise of constitutional authority. Report Liberia will closely follow. Yes, so that is it. It's important. It's important at this time for it is important because this is what our country is becoming.
Yes, so and we want to say a big plus.
So somebody said hustle and leave. Kind Oliver kind says hustle and leave Liberia if you can. And then somebody came on here, I know Freddie Fresh says, I will stay here and buy looting materials that my time to get rich some kind of way.
So you see,
the country is an interesting place.
It's funny and serious, right?
Serious, right? Serious.
We want to say bravo to all of those lawmakers that are supporting the rule of law. You guys are the real MVPs.
Sure.
In that
you clap for the people, man. You clap for the people.
Seriously.
What are you over there listening to the radio? You clap for those who are respecting the rule of law.
Yeah.
So let's begin picking calls here. 0776 104 104 086 500 104. David King is our first caller here. Good morning.
Good morning, Hagar, and good morning to the Liberian people, all the sound of our voices. Hagar, let me thank you and your colleagues for your standard analysis on the issue. You see, Hagar, Boakai is not just regular, but Boakai is a nation destroyer.
You did it with the CPP.
Boakai is taking our country to the destruction point. Because a government that would not believe in the rule of law, meaning the people in the country, they are bound to perish. Because no investor will think about coming to Liberia.
And more Ali said nobody more can.
But more Ali saying that nobody more can. People don't want investors.
Yeah, because you know why Mo Ali would say that? Yesterday, I saw Mo Ali to Samora Wurokoli house begging for money. He can no longer beg again because he got the state cover under his command.
He's a beg. We have for money to buy food. You want challenge it? I can.
Yeah, but even Samora Wurokoli.
We have fed him. We have bought him food. We are giving horse rent. But today, in B-ball,
these guys are destructive, just like Joseph Boakai. And that's why we told people during the election, we told people Joseph Boakai was never a leader because we saw that from the CPP. All right. Just from the CPP, Joseph Boakai cannot lead four smaller political parties. Then you take the whole country and give it to Joseph Boakai, the whole country will just be noisy. And that's why we get it today for him. Why that woman have to play national anthem to come sit down on the radio to talk crap?
So why you want him to play?
All right, thank you, David. Let's talk to another person. The WhatsApp line is as well. +231 86 500 104. This person, morning. Hello.
Yeah, good morning, guys.
You live on the radio. Go ahead, Chief.
Yeah, guys, this is the voice of Samuel. I'm joining you from Point 4 in Zimbabwe.
Where from Zimbabwe?
The player sitting right now, I'm very, very frustrated. I feel neglected and rejected. I don't know, I don't. You see, is it what experience can do? Is it what experience can do? So, what I experience from Chattanooga and not respected the issue of human rights. Chattanooga beat on people when I get on the street, I get beat and kill. So, I come and experience again. See, they come and see what I do in people. See the statement coming from Boga. So Boga is telling me right so that even if the Supreme Court declare Rejeko sitting in unconstitutional, he will still work with Rejeko because he said he will work with the quorum. You see the kind of Kono, so if our our opposition leader will sit in this country and Boga will just use it right there. They never forget about 2029 because if they can say that Boga they respect all the law, including the Supreme Court, because right now, including the Constitution, because I believe right now the Constitution has been suspended on a Boga because Boga is no more operating on a Constitution. So if our leader will say that Boga just use them and ride them, it got very frustrating. It got frustrating. It's shameful.
Don't cry. Don't cry. Let's talk to somebody else right here. I'm sure this is Edmond Carr. Edmond Carr, morning.
Morning. Give some money to your co-host. This is Edmond. Ensuring the player guys are keeping this unprepared President Peter to the fire. And this is the reason why we always refer to him as President. He's grossly inept. You know, he has ability to lead the country, and this is why I'm to you guys use our national anthem aspect wherever you the national anthem and just allow like his voice, like his shaking his voice, like his voice that cannot come up, you know, let him say what he want to say. And you know, guys around Waka, they are also helping to destroy him. So now you see the legal advisor, he was able to the Supreme Court what a quorum. But what he failed to explain to his supporter, not us, because we know that Supreme Court didn't just say quorum, you should have number. So Supreme Court said, be the one presiding to be over that quorum that you. They want to tell you how it's presiding, meaning the speaker of the country by his direct. It's the rule of order or the chairman on side over section. And he is equal to you. Even telling in the hearing that you can even have 1,000 to go have extra sitting. But Braga to come and tell us see you will work with the people with the have quorum. It's quite disappointing for them. Huh? Hey, thank God to the political party because Supreme Court will say hats off to them. They were able to wash our hands. But now it is left for the Liberian people to do what they say, oh, let them see. But the who the did are feeling it. But they had a couple of red different in the market for using party AMP and are paying for the city. Do they have different transportation for those that voted for Boakai? No. Paying the city, we are paying the city.
All right,
our going on the street would be intended to tell him that if he cannot do the right thing, then it is necessary that he gave way to presidency so that our nation can move forward. That is what we'll be going there for.
Okay.
So it's important. So as the political parties are coming together today, this is good because it's not about ANC, it's not about CDC, it's about the very Liberian people that they want to take over this country and say, you cannot sit and allow one group of people to control the misrule, to control the misrepresentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's talk to this person from the other line. Morning.
Good morning, Eda.
Morning, Chief.
My name is Vivek Gifla. I'm calling from Chief Patrick.
Go ahead, Gifla.
Eda, people may have gone all over looking for money to come to her and he needs find it. So the Kuneti Joseph Nyimabwaga and his delegate or whosoever that supported him in 2023 to benefit on him now is to validate the rule of law so the Liberian people will get on the street so that they will kill and UN will come into the play or ECOWAS will come into Liberia and support Joseph Nyimabwaga. There's nowhere around the world Joseph Nyimabwaga have gone and get fathers to come and develop this country. So the Kuneti that Joseph Nyimabwaga is saying is to go against the constitution so that Liberian people will get there and get on the street. So ECOWAS will say, oh yeah, let's go to Liberia. UN will say, let's go to Liberia. So that they will enjoy. But we will not sit and wait for that time to come. We are the common citizens. One day come outside and tell Joseph Nyimabwaga this country was made for rule of law.
Okay. Thank you. Let's talk to this person more. Star 799 star 799 hash reply with number 7. You can't walk away from your radio.
Yeah,
Chief.
because I think we're hearing ourselves.
Hello.
Morning.
Yeah, good morning. Freedom family.
Morning, Chief. Go ahead, Eli.
I'm glad to hear from you people. I continue to pray for everyone of you to continue your good job.
Amen.
Well, I would thank you for this topic on this unique discussion. I'm Sawi Toga from South and District 14. What I have to say, Jesus Walker should not play fun with our country. We came from school. We know the meaning of acknowledgement. And acknowledgement is not what the public want to hear from him. What we need for him to say here is, of course, based on the ruling of the Supreme Court, I'm agreeing, come back to remain as a legitimate speaker. Not to beat around the bush to say the fact. He doesn't want to say it. So if he is not ready, we are ready to do what we supposed to do to bring him down by petitioning. I mean, how do you call it?
Removing? You want to remove the man?
Yes, sure, because we don't know where we are going. We thought, I never thought of that he was going to do better. Meaning, I know the history of this man. 32 years, he has betrayed the RTC.
Okay.
Meaning, yeah, he has betrayed the RTC. Then what for the 2 years who has experience will behave to this public of Liberia?
All right.
And it's so sad.
Okay, Chief. Thank you. Let's talk to this person. 0776104104. Morning.
Yeah, this is Henry G. I'm calling from Ruto.
Go ahead, Chief.
Yeah. I listened to the president yesterday evening.
Mm-hmm.
The man is already supporting Reggie Kun. If you listen to him, he is with the people, with the side that get quorum. And another issue we are talking about constitutional issue. Who is elected? Reggie Kun is now elected speaker. So the old man keep on saying it. Why I have nothing to lose in Liberia now. The rightful is in the create. He doesn't care what will ever happen behind him. He may not even end this year back. Nobody will tell you, but you already.
Okay.
You want to put a country into a mess, then you leave us. You watch out there, brother.
Let's talk to another person. 0776104104. Morning.
Good morning.
You're live on the radio, Chief.
Thank you, actually, bro. What I want to say is that, you see, the way now things are trending now, it left with the Liberians now. Because it seems that this man that we elected as president, I think he worked being president. Because in any home, the father is the one that implements those laws.
Yeah,
and then seeing that
the father acting like the son now because he's the one that they rule.
Father acting the son, and son acting the father. So how do you call it? Well, going on nowhere. So it's like this old man that live his life doesn't want us as youth, to live our life good. But it seems to me like he's a wish. Because like how or witchcraft behave.
Okay.
No, let me friend.
Okay.
How witchcraft behave.
All right, let's talk to more persons. Morning.
Good morning,
You're live on the radio. Morning.
Okay. Fina.
Is your name is?
I'm Fina.
Okay, Fina, go ahead.
I'm calling from Boston.
Cool, okay.
This disappointment. Black people never knew it. They said that he was the best. And he's the worst effort that Black people has ever experienced. We don't blame this old man. We blame this Central Waters to make our own air open your mouth so wide and tell the people a whole lot of things about President we are. Now here it is. Black people is drowning in the water and he's sitting. He ain't going to say it more. For everybody that participates, the black to this will get the consequences. Even they don't fall upon the generation. And Bwaka Mona sees this is all to it. There is more. He has decided to dig a hole that his children, his knee will purpose, even his children will test. Because everything that Bwaka do in this country, he will get reward. I bless God for this day.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Let's talk to this person. Morning.
Good morning, Ika. How you doing?
I'm okay. Go ahead.
A parable I want to give you, quote and unquote. The rooster that must always crow among people.
You say what?
Without being drowned. That always crow among people without having a way. There's no man among them.
Okay. What do you mean that one?
The meaning is there are nobody, no man among the people of Liberia. So that why he is at it. So we have to wake up and tell him that there are men among us. And you are not more than the law.
All right. Okay. Let's talk to this person. Morning.
Yeah, good morning, Hika.
Morning.
Yeah, I'm Rosa Skazulukanen, the person of Grand Cape County, Funi, from Friday morning.
Go ahead, Chief.
Quick day to the issue. First of all, let me commend the opposition in that today from all parts of life within the length and breadth of the country, they come in today and to have a negotiation in order to prevent the land and the law of the land. Or one thing I would say to the president, if the president does things now, revise his statement at a point of time before the day end, that means he will be putting himself in chaos. You can't come in a country that you got all your greener pasture from until then today you calling yourself regional or to say you get money, the sweat of the country in your soul. Then you want to bring the country down to hell. We feel that since the country was built on a Christian principle, the Almighty God will join the believers and those who believe in the law of the land, and then they will overcome this president and his colleagues in that whereby they were preaching equity. Today they have been blinded and then preaching different things on the land like people then Samuel Kofi who. I'm surprised of that, even or back there, because whereby you were in the vanguard of saying good things about human rights, about humanity, and what are you? Today now they make you to be or national security or advisor. Then you going on a quasi phone and what are you? You don't know that it's very much dangerous. I thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's pick just two calls and call it a day on to this edition of the program. I'm sure this is Mansisi. Morning, Mansisi. Morning.
Yeah, morning.
Morning.
Yeah, by the way, I'm Kujiku Tuawe. I'm calling for Basota.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, my concern has to do with the speech that the president gave, saying that he's going to work with that quorum. And now he's trying to tell us that the country is with all law. He's trying to say we shouldn't respect the aspects of the law in this country. Then what make us to be a country if we don't have no law to be a barber again? So he's running the country in his own way as a driver driving left and right on the street. I think there should be a caveat to the president to retract his statement Because if I will retrospect, these are things that caused the 14-year conflict where people don't know because there were other people were driving Liberia from place to place in their own way.
Okay.
And it was not a fun way. So
All
you
right.
want to go back to that area.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Let's talk to this person. Morning.
Good morning, Mr. Gonda. Good morning. Good morning.
Live, go ahead.
This is the voice of Peter Sai, and I join you from Sokene District 4. You see what is going on have been, predicted by us. No serious country where somebody will be giving the whim of authority and other lucrative position for us and money here, and that person come and say, leave it alone. That means that person was a careless person. They didn't manage themselves well. So how can such a person manage a complex and diverse nature of a country like Liberia? We give it to him now. Here's what we're seeing. So very much deceptive. But I got one news for Mr. President. They got quickly before I leave the line. Mr. President, we know that you are nowhere ever pay somebody that did good for you. Well, we saw with Mr. Costa, we saw with the CPP. They both of them resuscitated you. But what you did, you pay the latter by tackling them, you pay the former by acting ungrateful. Now, Liberia resuscitated you when you're living alone, you are paying your loan, you're no longer living alone. And we know, I heard from credible sources that you're about to go back to your home salon because you're now a Liberian. Don't go back and plunge or in chaos before you go back. When you're going back, leave peacefully. Don't leave us in chaos. Don't leave us in a kind of bad situation that we're in a dark 14 years. We beg you. We beg you. But if you would think that you would do that, there are men were there before and men are here now. Some of us are willing to spend our sweat and blood to defend the rule of law and the constitution that we're enjoying here today. Because you know why? Some of our motorcyclists, the only thing we depend on is the law. That the law will make us to get spaces like what I made the richer guys to not infringe on us and oppress us. That's what we believe.
Motorcyclists are still believe that there is law.
And be doing it the way you're doing so. Every law that you made, destroying everything. We will not take it. Okay. We are not going to take it. And therefore, I beg you here, God, please tell me, did I hear you say that the opposition has a meeting today?
Yeah, they have a meeting today, 2 o'clock at the ANC party headquarters.
In Congo Town,
yeah,
right?
Sure.
I will make my way there.
Okay, let me listen.
The radio caller.
Let's listen to Comrade Stanton Waterspoon. Let's listen to him so we can hear some of the things he said. Let's listen to him.
For Joe Manu, we have a fail. Just in case President Gwaka the Joe Manu, we are. Everything we're praying for Joe Manu, we have a fail. Just in case President Gwaka the chance to be president. If Joe Manu, we were to do better, who wasn't going to be on the show today talking about?
Did you say until vote against George now? He's not doing this well.
I beg you, my brother. I beg you, please. We ran against George. We are mean aggressively. We said the worst about George. We said he was criminal. We said he stole from the coffer. He told Samuel to walk away with 16 billion. We said everything plus more. We said the crime report that said John Weah, instead we said that was a lie. John Weah had COVID money. John Weah spent 100 days out of the country. John Weah bought bush meat. We said everything because we wanted John Manu Weah to fail. That's the work of our opposition. So, and you said because Snow said you want the government to fail, so you're angry and you're positive. I just don't get it. You are praying for your opponent to fail to take his seat. You wasn't praying for him to succeed and come and say, that means the man at woman, but you vote for me. Did you do that? For the
Okay. Let me just quickly before we close here, let me read out a write-out done by a Lender Liberian lawyer, Councillor Tiawon C. Gonglo, and it was done just 6 minutes ago. He says here, rebuttal to President Joseph Newman Boakai Sr. by Councillor Tiawon C. Gonglo, Assistant Professor of Law and an advocate for constitutional order and human rights, April 25, 2025. The Supreme Court of Liberia, in its opinion and judgment of April 23, 2025,
unequivocally declare that any action or sitting of the majority bloc in which the elected speaker is not presiding despite being present and is not absent or incapacitated is unconstitutional. The action of the self-styled majority bloc is in total disregard for the rule of law. Mr. President, this ruling is final and must be honored without delay or qualification, consistent with Article 65 of the Constitution of Liberia, which provides judgment of the Supreme Court shall be final and binding and shall not be subject to appeal or review by any other branch of government. You hear it? Article 65. Go and read. Additionally, Article 66 of the same Constitution says, the Supreme Court shall be the final arbiter of constitutional issues. Hence, when the Supreme Court speaks, all must obey. Mr. President, your recent assertion that your administration will continue to work with the quorum that ensures a full functioning of our government flagrantly disregards this clear and authoritative rule of the Supreme Court. It undermines the constitutional foundation of Liberia's governance and weakens public trust in the rule of law. The court has spoken. As such, all government officials, members of the House of Representatives, citizens of Liberia, diplomatic partners, and both local and international business entities must comply fully with the court's judgment. The legal dispute in the House has been resolved. The legitimate and constitutionally recognized presiding officer of the House of Representatives is Speaker J. Fonati Kofa. A true commitment to the rule of law is not expressed in words, but in action. It is demonstrated by unreserved respect for the opinion of the highest court in the land. In 2000, following the U.S. Supreme Court's ruling in an electoral dispute, former Vice President A.R. Gori conceded gracefully and said, "Now the U.S. Supreme Court has spoken. Let there be no doubt. Why I strongly disagree with the court's decision, I accept it." This is the type of statesmanship Liberia needs now from you, Mr. President. No ambiguity. I call upon you, Mr. President, to 1. Instruct all government officials to cease any statements or action that question the legitimacy of the Supreme Court's opinion. 2. Warn that any official who undermines the court's authority may face suspension or dismissal. 3. Urge all members of the House of Representatives to abide by the court's decision because the Lord is the law. 4. Ensure all official communications to the House of Representatives or the legislature from you or any of your officials are addressed to Speaker J. Fonati Kofa. 5. Withdraw all security details, vehicles, and support currently attached to Honorable Kum and restore them to Speaker Kofa. Any defiance of this ruling by you or your officials or legislators invites chaos and disorder, thereby undermining the ability of the government to serve the Liberian people effectively. Moreover, your failure to fully recognize and implement the Supreme Court's opinion will constitute a gross breach of constitutional duty. It will tarnish Liberia's image internationally and may jeopardize our country's bid for a non-permanent seat on the United Nations Security Council. It could also deter vital foreign investment by signaling that your administration does not uphold the rule of law. Let there be no ambiguity. Liberia's peace, democratic stability, and global credibility depends on unwavering respect for the rule of law. I urge you, Mr. President, to rise to this movement, not in service to political functions, but in defense of the Constitution, the judiciary, and the Liberian people. A word to the wise is quite sufficient. Please listen while there is time, Mr. President. A better Liberia is possible only with commitment to adherence to the rule of law without reservation. That is it from Councillor Tiawonsi Gonglu. You listen to him. But again, I expect that Unity Party people will cause. Because, yes, trust me, you beginning now, right after the reading of this, many of them will start to go after his account, and you understand. Many of them will start to cause. And this. So, folks, promise we are out of time, and we're about to leave now.
Yes.
Yeah. So the weekend.
Okay, this is the weekend for us. Some of us are going to the weekend, with money in our pocket, while others are going there without any money. But howbeit, we want to say, in as much as the executive branch of government have gone against the laws of the country, we are still encouraging every one of us to please uphold the rule of law. We shouldn't be as lawless as our governance, those that are governing us right now. Let's please uphold the rule of law, and we see you when we see you next Friday.
We see you when we see you next Friday. I'm going to be here hopefully on Monday with Abu Sharif, and together we will begin a brand new week. But until then, the name is Hagar Gunda. I've been here, Promise as well. I've been here. We are out of time and we are out of here. We're leaving you with this piece.
Guess what? People come and